Okay, so next up I want to introduce Jerri Lynn Ward. She's a tireless activist for Texans for Accountable Government, the Republican Liberty Caucus, Travis County Right to Life. She's the president of that organization. I've worked alongside her for a couple years now. I'm very proud to call her my friend and my fellow compatriot. So Jerri Lynn Ward's going to give us a little taste of, we're going to get a little bit of anger out, a little bit of emotion out. So Jerri Lynn Ward, ladies and gentlemen.
Partisan part. We got libertarians, we got Republicans, we got pro-lifers, we got all sorts of people here, and I think it's great because we're working for the same kinds of issues, and that is liberty for us, the ability to run our own lives and to not have the federal government or the state government run it for us. Yeah. Now one thing I regret to announce that Debbie Kidd, who is a tireless activist for freedom, is going to be unable to make it. She lives 6 hours away. She started driving. She made it to Brady. A torrential downpour started happening, so she had to pull over to the side of the road and wait it out. And unfortunately, it lasted so long that there's no way she's going to make it on time. But I invite all of you to find out who Debbie Kidd is. Her name is spelled D-E-V-V-Y-K-I-D-D. She's a prolific writer. You can read her articles at News with Views, and she's got old articles at worldnetdaily.com. Wait. Okay. And so I invite all of you to read her articles there. Also, she was kind enough to email her speech from the road to us, Ain't Technology Great? And it will be posted on the TAG website tonight. So you can all go read it now. So next, what I want to do is make this interactive. And so I came up with a piñata. And on one side of the piñata is a Form 1040 IRS 10...
Yeah, it's heavy.
It's a 1040 IRS form.
It's voluntary to fill them out.
On the other side is a fiat dollar. And just like Jack Blood was talking, they've got two ways to loot us. First of all, they can loot us through income taxes by putting a tax essentially on our labor. And secondly, they manipulate the value of the dollar through inflation, and they take money from us. And I know a lot of you know the history of the Federal Reserve that was formed in 1913 and is essentially a Keynesian organization, a central planning organization.
It's a criminal organization.
That manipulates the value of your dollar.
Shadow government.
And then soon after that, they passed the income tax in order to pay the interest on the debt that the Federal Reserve enabled the government to create in order to do things that you didn't elect your elected representatives to do. They don't have to tax us or raise our taxes to do the things we don't want them to do. They just borrow money, and they have the Federal Reserve depreciate the value of your dollar, and they steal your wealth. They decapitalize families, and they give that money over to their favored constituencies and to Washington bureaucrats. I guess you've all seen that the only job growth we're having in this country is in the government sector. And not only that, their salaries are higher than those in the private sector. And they're going to expect us to fund their very lucrative pensions. Well, let me tell you, who's going to bear all this? Now, Congress has kicked the can of Social Security and Medicare and also of the debt down the road. And they've done it by trying to come up with TARP and do bailouts and kick over the health care. But all that does is make things worse. It loots your pocket. It loots the pocket of your families. And it kicks the can, the inevitable can, down the road. And we are placing a lot of burden on the shoulders of our children and grandchildren. And just like that mythical giant Atlas, who had the burden of the world on his shoulders, the young people are going to have a choice. They're either going to become tax slaves, or just like Atlas could have, they're going to shrug and they're going to default on everything. And I'd like to ask if any children would like to come up and hit the piñata, because you know what, we'd like to have a little head start on trying to dismantle all this thing that puts these children at risk and also risks warfare between the age groups in the future. Are there any children in the crowd?
Last time I checked, it's $34,000 at every new